Thank you so much. Our first speaker is Shane Trejo. I don't know how many of you know Shane Trejo, but this is the most impressive young man, one of the most impressive young men that I have seen in the movement. I've watched him speak. I've seen the presentations that he puts together. He takes an idea, he creates a project, and he ends the mission. He goes full circle with any project that he takes on. This man someday should be the governor of the state of Michigan. Shane Trejo.
Hi there, everybody. Happy to speak with you today on the issue of civil asset forfeiture. We've been making a lot of headway on this issue, but it's time for us to actually go the whole 9 yards and actually end civil asset forfeiture, aka policing for profit. And this is why I'm happy to introduce the Oakland Forfeiture Act, which I will explain to you more right now. So let me give you a brief primer first for those of you who may not know what civil asset forfeiture is. It essentially turns the system of justice in America on its head. It turns innocent until proven guilty into guilty until proven innocent. It allows government officials to seize assets and sell them off before a suspect is even convicted of a crime. So the seizure of assets makes sense in drug cases and prostitution cases. However, they, through a legal fiction, they charge the property with a civil suit. That way, the greedy government bureaucrats can get around the legal hiccups and just take it. And it's problematic because the government does not make it easy for people to get their property back. Even if they're proven innocent, the property may be sold off anyway. The government often makes thousands and thousands of dollars of legal fees that you have to go through to even have a chance to get your property back. So they don't make it easy for you, and it's resulted in abuses so horrific that they're hard to even believe. There are many examples of these. I could go on all day about them. And if you'd like more information on seeing these examples and the horrific nature of civil asset forfeiture, I'd happy to point you in the direction of that information. So this is a terrible abuse. And this is one we're focusing on locally to tackle this and end this. So why this issue? It has bipartisan support. There's a growing left-right alliance forming on this issue. People on the right dislike civil asset forfeiture because it is an abridgment of private property rights. It's unconstitutional, and people on the left don't like it because it generally tends to impact minorities and poor people. So there's common ground here that we can forge ahead and end civil asset forfeiture. And once people are informed as to what civil asset forfeiture is, it's very, very, very difficult for them to support it. I believe, according to the polls I've seen, it's something like people who are aware of the topic, 87% of people do not support asset forfeiture. So it's a big winner for us. And it's also a way we can show the community that we're the leaders out there looking out for their freedom and their public safety. So we're doing the work of showing the public that we're the civic leaders, that we're looking out for them, and that's why we're going to defend private property and privacy rights for all by taking this issue into as many communities as possible in the Oakland County area. Also, this has some history in terms of GOP activism. I know that many people have put up resolutions in the GOP locally to rebuke civil asset forfeiture. It began with, at first, the establishment, the GOP establishment, who supports these policies, was at first very hostile to us, but as we kept fighting on, they pretty much capitulated, and the resolutions were passed. So that was a good step in the right direction. And then reform bills were passed in Lansing, or at least they were billed as reform bills. Unfortunately, these bills did nothing to stop civil asset forfeiture. They did add slight reporting requirements, which is a very small step in the right direction. But Michigan, the state of Michigan, still gets a D- for their asset forfeiture laws from the Libertarian Institute for Justice out of Washington, D.C. So they tried to pacify us so that we'll go away. We're not going to go away. We're not falling for their parlor tricks. We're coming back harder and stronger to actually end this stuff so that they don't placate us and make us think that they've actually reformed something when they haven't. Thank you. Now, let me explain to you the methodology that we're taking here. This is how we can push back. The way to fight back is through the local ballot initiative. This way we don't have to grovel to corrupt bureaucrats. We don't have to lobby them. We don't have to deal with them at all. We circumvent them entirely, and then we go on city by city and we put it to the voters. It's shockingly easy to get issues on the ballot in most towns. A few dozen or a few hundred signatures can do it in most of the towns in Oakland County that are eligible. So we're currently got 5 cities that we're active in: Kego Harbor, Lathrop Village, Bloomfield Hills, Northville, and Clarkston. Last week the first day we got started. This was Tuesday when everyone was voting at the polls, and we got a huge success. We almost knocked out the entire city of Bloomfield Hills in one day. And it's very easy to get people to sign once you tell them the problem. And we also have a provision in the language of the ballots that earmarks any money gathered to roads. So it's also a road repair act, and that's very good to sell to people. So it's very easy to get these signatures, and then once we put it on the ballot, we can end it, and that'll resonate up to our legislators. It'll get media attention, and that will hopefully spur some legislative action at the state level. One of our good legislators, such as Senator Patrick Colbeck, may want to jump on the issue once the momentum has built. So we're in 5 cities right now. We're aiming for as many as 20 cities to be on the November 2016 ballot. So it doesn't have to just end there. We can prepare ballot initiatives on a wide variety of issues. We can do it for term limits. We can get the bums out. There are entrenched people at local governments that have had their positions for 20 years. They can't be beaten. But if we take term limits and we put it on the ballot, they're history, and we get new people in there. Another one is government transparency, so requiring records, additional records, so that you can see exactly how corrupt your local officials are. And unpopular ordinances, they can be overturned by taking it directly to the people. So this can really be the beginning of something big, where we take the fight to every individual town. Rather than focusing on national politics or even state politics, we can do it at the local level, and we can build leadership. We can do it with a small amount of people, and the irate, tireless minority can have an impact. I'd like to transition to Bob and Gina Brim. They have led on this issue locally. They are helping us petition in Lathrop Village. They have been instrumental in helping on this issue and pushing it forward in different committees. They're going to be passing around some sign-up sheets right now that you can sign up, and if you, in your local community, we're going to be all over. There's going to be a community nearby you where we're going to be petitioning to put asset forfeiture on the ballot. We're aiming to do it in 20 cities. We hope to have your help. This is a way that we can impact locally, build leadership, show the community that we're the good guys, and really from there build up into something bigger. So I hope that you all join me, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Shane. I think it's really important that individual people take on these issues. In fact, I was hoping that at some point we might be able to coordinate efforts throughout the state by having 2 or 3 people in each group work on one issue, because there's so many issues right now on our plate that we just get overwhelmed and end up doing nothing. So